girls, it's still winter time, we're still thinking of Christmas, almost over, and I thought we'll sing Silent Night for the last time. Good song.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth.
Silent Night, what a lovely song, what a lovely thought. Let's go and see some rugby and let me know if you have the potential to be an international rugby star. So a very popular sport. Do you know what it is? Amongst boys is rugby. Kids love to throw the ball and love to catch it. And people say to me, do you play rugby? Because sometimes you're big. No, I say I'm far too fat and slow to play rugby. You got to be strong and you got to be fast to play rugby. But we're in Belfast again at the home of the Ulster Rugby. And have you ever watched a rugby game? The excitement, the momentum there is when 15 men go onto the field and it's you can hear the All Blacks and they're chanting, especially when it's two countries playing against each other. The excitement, the enthusiasm, the roar of the crowd is unbelievable whenever their team starts to play. Just a ball, like an egg, a rugby ball, and whenever the whistle blows and off it goes, and the power and the might and the strength that's used with their team to keep the flankers, the number 8, the forwards, the backs all playing with each other. And I love watching a rugby game in the sense the way the teamwork. Teamwork is very important. There's no one man in a rugby game. He must learn to pass the ball, not only to keep his eyes on the ball, but to keep his eyes on his team players. And whenever it goes to the forward, the moment the attacker comes, it's passed along, keep passing. And when the moment is right, they strike and they run like lightning as quickly as they possibly can, and they're going forward to get to the goal line. Let's have a look inside the home of Ulster Rugby. Here we are at the home of Ulster Rugby. If you've ever been to a rugby game here at the home ground, you would have came to this park, walked through, and then the whole green field is just in front of you. And lots of children, young children love to play. It's not just for boys, young boys. They learn the skills of the game, how to hold the ball, catch the ball, throw the ball, the controls of the ball. And then not only that, girls love to play rugby as well. Sports are equally for boys and for girls, but especially boys, they love to play the game of rugby. So this here's a scrum, and you can see the power there is whenever the men get together, a hold and embrace and put all their strength, their leg muscles, their back muscles, their arm muscles all in together, because they're fighting it to get this one thing. It's one team against the other, but they must work as a team. If one of them give up, the whole team would fall in, so they all must work together as a team. Teamwork makes the dream work, and that's how often a team will win a game. In rugby, of course, it's not Northern Ireland team, it's the Ulster team, which means Northern Ireland. And rugby's a wonderful game to watch, of power, of strength, and of a team working together. It takes effort, it takes commitment, it takes teamwork, it takes all these things. A guy just can't turn up and play a good game of rugby. It just doesn't happen. It takes hours and days of practice, and often it takes years. A man just doesn't wake up some morning and decide, I want to play for my country, to be a rugby player. It doesn't work like that. Quite often as a child, they have a desire to play the game. They get a rugby ball, they start to play with it, they start to pass it, they join a team, they're trained up, and they would often spend 2 nights a week training, then playing on a Saturday, and that can happen for years. But of course, it's an ambition for anyone who plays any sport to represent their country. For 99.9% of the people, it's not going to happen. But for some people, it does happen. And it's their greatest honour and privilege for anyone to represent their country playing a sport such as rugby, whether it's rugby or football or cycling or athletics. But here we're talking about rugby today, and some people, whenever they play, you always want your team country to win. No matter what country you come from, you always want your country to play and to play their best and to do their best and to win. And every time there's a penalty, for example, and the ball's set down and they take a big run and they kick it, you just hope it goes between the two lines right in the middle. You ever watch whenever they take 2 steps back and go to the side, they have to get the preciseness, work out the wind, and then they take a run and they take their penalty and kick the ball. And sometimes they miss. These are professionals, but sometimes they miss a shot because they're nervous, because they're anxious, because the wind's a different direction. The pressure from everyone holding their breath, and the moment they score, there's a roar. And the moment they miss, there's a sigh. So it makes me think a greatest honour for a player is to represent their country. They can be an ambassador for their country to play. Ulster is one of the best teams at the moment in Europe. It's got wonderful young men who are brilliant athletes, who they're strong, they're fit, they're healthy, and they know how to play their sport. And likewise, for me in the Christian life, we can learn the lessons from sport, the lessons from rugby. Andrew Trimble was a Christian. He would speak about being a Christian and play for his country, and a great ambassador he was. Willie John McBride is also another famous player. For many years he played for his country, and he was one of the best rugby players in the world. Lots of the Ulster players, they also play for Ireland, to represent Ireland across the world. So that's a great asset to them, to be recognised by other teams, to be able to represent them to play in world events such as rugby. So I'm going to take a shot. I've never played rugby in my life before. What is it? Get the ball to sit. The team's all quiet. Thousands of spectators are quiet. As he takes a step back, eyes up his goal and takes a run. Yes! Not everyone gets to the level of representing their country, and don't be disappointed if that never happens, because it never happens to most people. The importance about sport is enjoying the game. If you play rugby, enjoy the game of rugby. If you lose, it doesn't matter. Only one team's going to win. If the other team beats you, shake hands and wish them all the best and try harder next time. So it's all about enjoying the game. It's like the Christian life. Some people aspire to be the best Christian they can be, and every time they do something wrong, they feel so upset because they've let God down. That's life. It happens. The secret is enjoy the Christian life. Enjoy the walk with God. Not everyone's going to be a famous missionary, a famous preacher, or a minister, but God's people are normal people. Whenever he chose his disciples, they were everyday people. They were fishermen. Whenever he chose the prophets in the Old Testament, most of them were shepherds out living everyday lives, working with sheep, working with people. And that's the sort of people God loves today. People who just love life. When you're young, be happy and thankful you can run. And if you want to play rugby, be happy you can actually hold a ball or kick a ball or be able to play sports. Lots of children would love to be able to run, would love to have the legs to walk, but hospitals are full of children who can't play. Lots of sports people, their bodies have been injured, therefore their sport careers have been cut short because of an injury to their leg or to their arm, and that's why they can't play any longer. So the fact you can get a ball, go into a field and play with your friends, be thankful, because lots of people can't do that. So whenever we think of rugby, we're talking today about Northern Ireland, about Ulster, about people representing their country playing rugby, and that's a wonderful thing. And equally important, I will say, not just are the players on the field, but the spectators on the ground supporting them, clapping them, cheering them, wishing them all the best. They are encouragers, and in the Bible God talks about encouragers, and it's a wonderful gift to be able to encourage people in their walk. When you see somebody and they're not having a good day, go and talk to them and say hello to them. How are you doing? Believe it or not, you will encourage them more than you will ever know. We all like to be encouraged, therefore you can be an encourager, and the player in the field will tell you, if it wasn't for the spectators clapping them, cheering, singing them, and encouraging them to keep going on. It would not be so easy to play the sport. Therefore, they need them to cheer them on. And in life, we all need cheered on, spurred on. That's what God does. He comes to encourage us through His Word, through speaking, but then you can live out the Christian life by being someone who can encourage someone to keep going on for God, and that's a great gift to be able to do that. So the lesson today is about Ulster Rugby. It's about Northern Ireland, it's about sport, it's about rugby, and the lesson number 1 is about being an encourager, encouraging those around you to keep going on. Another great video. I've never really played rugby before, but find it fascinating. It was good to learn a little bit about it. Let's sing the Joy to the World.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare Him room. And can let nature sing, and can let nature sing, and let nature sing. Joy to the earth, the Savior reigns. Let endless songs and on fields and floods, from hills and plains, reaping the sounding joy, reaping the sounding joy, reaping the sounding joy. No more sins and sorrows grow, no thorns infest the ground. He comes to make His blessings fall. For us the curse is gone, for us the curse is gone, for us the curse is gone. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations good. The glories of His righteousness, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love.
Brilliant song to end another wonderful assembly. Thank you for watching so much, and we'll see you next time.